The List, Part 3, a novella by Dan Mason. Disclaimer: reader discretion is advised, and if you're in the story, relax. It's just a joke. Chapter 9, The Rook Protocol NSA Special Facility, Utah Data Center, July 8, 2025. The only person who knew where Bishop might be was someone who hadn't used his real name in 2 decades. Code name: Rook. Once the CIA's best wet work asset, Rook disappeared in 2012 after a botched cleanup operation in Sarajevo. No funeral, no charges, just a burn notice and a deep silence, until today. Kash Patel activated Rook through a dormant relay buried in the Utah Data Center. Protocol Zeta-13. Only a handful of humans knew how to launch it. Even fewer survived its last use. A dead drop was placed in Helsinki. 2 hours later, it was gone. And on a cold screen in Fort Meade, one line appeared: "If I find him first, he lives. If Langley finds him, he dies." Chapter 10, Mossad's Silent Blade. Rachel Finn had been declared dead by her own agency. A car explosion was staged in Prague, a funeral in Tel Aviv with an empty casket. But Rachel wasn't dead. She was deep. She had found one name on the Epstein list that terrified even her own handlers: Menachem Eliad, former Mossad liaison to MI6, now retired in the Swiss Alps. A man known for 2 things: operational silence and decades of access to elite trafficking networks masked as diplomatic favors. She tracked him to a ski lodge near St. Moritz. But someone else was already there. 2 men. American accents, not CIA. She knew the gate. JSOC. They weren't here to question. They were here to clean. Chapter 11, Carter's Bargain. Tam Carter had escaped federal custody using a trick only the deepest moles knew: call in a fake secure transfer and embed it with a known compromise phrase. The phrase was embedded in her transport manifest, requesting escort under Protocol Flint, subject tagged Gray 9. Gray 9 was a ghost tag used for assets that had become liabilities. Every deep state agency had a file on it. Carter knew that it meant they won't touch her, but they'll watch her, and maybe one day use her. She fled to Charleston and reached out to the only person who could decode her vault tapes, a former NSA linguist named Janek Morrow, now living in exile in Poland. She wrote a sentence to him: "It's not a list, it's a ledger, and you're in it." Chapter 12, The Vatican Thread. Inside the Apostolic Palace, Cardinal Pietro Lucchi stared at a manila envelope hand-delivered by a Swiss guard. No return address, no markings, just one photo inside. Himself, at 33, smiling. Arm around a girl. She couldn't have been older than 14. Lucchi sat in silence, then walked to his private study and dialed a number only 4 people in the church hierarchy had access to. In Buenos Aires, a red phone rang. A voice answered, "Has it arrived?" Lucchi said nothing. He lit the photo with a match and dropped it in a silver tray. But the photo wasn't the only copy. Chapter 13, The Burn Circle. Within the CIA's Burn Circle, an off-the-books task force built after 9/11 to control collateral from foreign and domestic ops, a special protocol had been activated. Fatel. Bishop was declared a threat. Rook intercepted the kill order and sent it back with one change: reassign target Patel. Langley's director of operations paused. The order hadn't been cleared through chain white or chain black, but the signature was authentic. He overrode it, and in the shadows, the game flipped. Chapter 14, Exit Wound. Dan Bongino, bleeding and broken, had one final name he hadn't told Patel. A name connected not to Epstein, but to the architects behind the cover-up, the ones who moved the pieces before and after Epstein's death. He scribbled it on a torn corner of a medical consent form in Walter Reed. Langston V. Rhines, DOJ, Black Fund, 2001-2016. Kash read it that night. His face went pale. Raines had been dead for 9 years. Officially.